in Celtics history.
Curry has time. 3 seconds. Curry from half court. He puts it in at the buzzer.
Thunder's out of timeouts. Adams gives it back to Russ. Deep shot.
What's going on YouTube? Tyler James here, and we're finally back with some content. The start of much more to come. I'm going to do a 2018 NBA redraft, and what that means is we're going to redraft last year's draft. If we wanted to pick today, if it started today and all the GMs could start over, we're going to base it a little bit off potential and a little bit off of performance. So it's going to be a mixture of both. For example, if a rookie's doing really well, he might be rated a little higher, but I still might make a pick for a team as far as potential goes as well. So a little bit of both. Let's get into it. Same draft order with the number 1 pick. That number 1 pick, of course, was DeAndre Ayton by the Phoenix Suns, but we're switching it up. Ayton's had a good season, but Luka Doncic has just been next level. He had a game winner recently for the Mavericks, and he's really fitting into this positionless type NBA where he could play the 1 through the 3, and as far as all-star, superstar potential, he might have the highest ceiling in this draft. A lot of people doubted him or weren't sure about him because he was an international player, but right now, if you redrafted, I think the Phoenix Suns would go with Luka Doncic at number 1. Next up would be the Kings, who drafted Marvin Bagley Jr. I think they're having regrets on not, passing up on Luka, but if they were in this draft at the number 2 pick, I think they'd go DeAndre Ayton. With as much Luka mania is going on and how crazy everybody is about him, we're forgetting that Ayton is putting up a very solid first season so far with the Phoenix Suns, averaging a double-double, has had some really good games, and he's looking good. If it wasn't for Luka, I think he would be more of on top of this rookie list as far as the hype, but Doncic has stolen a little bit of that, but let's not forget this elite big man that had so much potential is really having a great season for the Kings, or I should say for the Suns, but it would be for the Kings in this situation. With the number 3 pick, the Atlanta Hawks, of course, drafted Trae Young, and this is one of the first picks where it's going to stay the same. I think if Luka's off the board and DeAndre's off the board at this point, they really like Trae Young. I mean, this is why they drafted him over Luka in the first place, and maybe if they could go back, they'd take Doncic right now at number 3, but in this scenario for the redraft, they stick with their guy who's had a solid rookie season so far. They were in love with him on draft night, so why change it right now? Yeah, this is supposed to be a redraft, but so far we have 2 out of the 4 picks where these teams are staying with who they went with. Jaren Jackson Jr. was, of course, Memphis' pick. They got a lot of flack for not drafting Luka, and with as great as Luka looks so far, if he was available here, I think they'd double thinking, kind of like the Trae Young situation in the Atlanta Hawks, but he's not, so I think they stick with their guy. Very high on him, one of the younger players in the draft with a very high ceiling, so why not stick with someone who's producing for you already at a young age of 19 and has one of the highest ceilings in the NBA draft last year. With the number 5 pick, the Dallas Mavericks, of course, drafted Luka, but in this redraft, I have them going with Wendell Carter Jr., and right before draft night, his name started to rise a little bit, and a lot of analysts really did think he could be one of the better big men in this draft. He just didn't have a lot of flash to him. However, he's getting it done so far with the Bulls, averaging 10.3 points per game, 6.7 rebounds, and a block per game. I think Dallas would love him here. Nice little big man when Dirk leaves, and I think it would be a great pick for them overall. Number 6 was a tough one for me. Of course, the Magic did draft Mo Bamba, a decent pick for them, but they really did need a point guard. And now that you can see how these rookies have produced so far, I wanted to go Colin Sexton. I was very close to going Colin Sexton, but the best point guard so far for rookies, if you don't count Luka or Trae Young really, and at this point, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's looked really well. I don't know if it's just those Kentucky guys. He didn't have a really high stock when it was draft time last year, but he's finding a shot that not many people thought he would have or were sure that he'd have, and he's looking really good so far, so I think it'd be a great pick for the Magic who need a point guard. Another tough one here at number 7 for the Chicago Bulls. They, of course, took Wendell Carter last year. He's not available in this draft, so this is my first real potential pick. Obviously, Marvin Bagley went number 2 to the Sacramento Kings, had the big name out of the draft coming out of Duke. But overall, as far as rookies perform, he hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been number 2 pick worthy. Of course, when you're drafting, you're going for potential too. I think the Bulls would love this potential. They would love to trade up for him, actually, I believe, during the draft last year. So if he fell to them at number 7, they would grab him in a second. Number 8, Cleveland Cavaliers. I went back and forth on this one too. Their original pick, Colin Sexton, started off kind of slow, had a lot of people wondering what was going on, but has come on a little bit recently. Looking better, looking more like that number 1 draft pick point guard that they picked, the Bulldog. However, Kevin Knox has looked great for the Knicks. I think he has one of the best elite scoring potentials in this game. Very smooth in this rookie class, I should say. Very smooth. So I think the Cavs would draft him. I really do. I think they'd take him and have him be the next small forward shooting guard of the future. At number 9, the New York Knicks, of course, took Kevin Knox. I think they're happy with that pick so far. But if we're redrafting and Mo Bamba is there, the New York native, you can't pass that up. And maybe it's just me kind of liking the storyline of him going back to New York. This is another potential type pick, although Mo Bamba hasn't been terrible either. All these rookies have been very solid. For a number 5 pick, maybe could be a little better so far, but he's got that amazing length. I don't know how the fit would be with Porzingis, but it would be crazy to have 2 unicorns on one team. Bring the New York guy home, Mo Bamba, number 9. I think they'd love that pick. In the final number 10 pick, 76ers, they were a tough one too. They, of course, traded out of their pick, got Zaire Smith in the end. I like Colin Sexton here for him. Kind of hurts that he doesn't really shoot where they kind of wanted to add more shooting. However, with the Markelle Fultz struggle and Ben Simmons being, yeah, your point guard, but he's still a power forward, so it would be nice to have another point guard on the court once in a while. I like Colin Sexton here for them. I think he could fill the role that Fultz really hasn't so far. Really early to see if Fultz is done yet, but as far as this goes, this redraft goes at this moment, Sexton would be the pick for the Sixers. That's it, guys, for this video, the 2018 NBA redraft, if it was today. Next video to look out for, my mock draft 1.0 and or big board college basketball, Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett. All these guys are doing some amazing things. Of course, Zion's the big name, but those Duke prospects are looking good. So I'm going to have a mock draft coming up very soon. It'll preview each pick in their new team's uniforms using these kind of type of videos that I usually use. So be on the lookout for that and much more YouTube content to come. TJonTheNBA.com is the main site if you want to check that out. That's my new blog. We'll be putting a lot of the videos on here. At Tyler James NBA on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me and look out for the next video and some more NBA content coming at you very soon. Of course, be sure to subscribe because once we hit 1,000, we're giving away some gear from myteamsports.com. So once we hit that 1,000 subscribers and every 1,000 after that, we're going to be giving out gear to multiple winners. So all you have to do is be a subscriber. Until then, see you next time.